Hi guys and welcome to this session by Intellipaat. So RPA is one of the most trending technologies of the 21st century. As you have probably heard, it is being used by most of the Fortune 500 companies for automating their tasks. So there are a lot of redundant tasks in every field if you go about it. So that is where the RPA comes into picture. What it basically does is, it is a rule-based technology which will do the actions that you want by itself. So we'll be today discussing about RPA developer and what is the RPA developer salary, what are the different jobs in RPA and the career, and how to make a resume for an RPA developer. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to our channel to never miss an update from Intellipaat. Now let's see today's agenda. So today's agenda is sixfold. We'll be starting off with what is RPA, where I'll tell you what is robotic process automation, what is it all about. I will give you a small example to make things more clearer. And then we'll move about to see what are the job trends in RPA right now, which companies are hiring, and what it looks like in the future about the RPA market, how much market share will RPA hold. And then we'll talk about the average salary right now in that particular domain as well. And then after that, we'll talk about the top jobs which are there in RPA right now and what are the different responsibilities which comes with those roles in RPA in the third section of our agenda. And moving on, we'll be talking about which RPA tools you should learn and what skills you should have in order to land these jobs, which we'll be talking about in the third section. And after that, we'll show you a sample resume with a sample job description as well. So we've compiled a lot of job descriptions from here and there, and we found out what are the skills which is required by RPA developers, which hirers are looking at the moment. And we'll tell you how to create the resume in that fashion. And finally, we'll have a further learning about how you can go about becoming an RPA developer and how you can enhance your skill in those domains, right? So that's about the agenda. Let's begin with this session. So the first question is robotic process automation. But before we get into robotic process automation altogether, let's talk about automation. Why the need for automation even began. So any company which works right now, so if you have human employees, let's say for entering data, you are a company which has a lot of invoice or a lot of data where you have to store customer information each day, and what are the orders, whatever you are putting in and putting out every day, you have to store a lot of information every day, right? So doing it manually is first is not very feasible. Two, requires a lot of effort. C, there is a lot of chance that you'll have human errors. That is when automation came into picture. So automation came all together just to solve the problem of latency, that is delay which you are having as humans doing a job. Secondly, to improve the accuracy, because doing jobs with robots will actually eliminate errors if the rules are properly defined. And more importantly, it will give you a lot of benefits for any company to have more efficient and faster algorithms which are working for you, right? That's when automation came into picture. So when automation actually came into picture, what they were doing initially is they would hire automation engineers who would code in, let's say, Java, C++, or any other programming language. They will define a set of rules, a lot of rules, and they'll deep hard code everything, and that's how their automation was actually working. And to hire these employees, it was a lot of tedious task because you had to write very vigorous code in order to achieve a very simple automation. That's when robotic process automation came into picture. Now, if we go by the definition, robotic process automation, or RPA, is the process of automating operations with robots without human interaction with the system. Now, if you go by the definition, it's not very clear. So what I like to do is break it term by term. So RPA is made up of three different terms, right? First is robotic, second is process, and third is automation. So robotic basically stands for anything that mimics human actions. Process is something which is a set of sequential actions which will lead to a desired result. And automation is anything which is done without human intervention. So in all together, when you talk about robotic process automation, you're looking at something which will mimic your actions without you being there by following a set of rules that you have defined previous-hand. Now, how is automation, robotic process automation different from the traditional automation? Well, the goal of both of these automations are the same. It's to achieve automation without human interaction, to achieve more accuracy, more reliability, and better implementation. But the thing with robotic process automation is that it's very simple to do. So all the RPA tools which are there in the world right now, which are market trending, are very, very, very simple to use. These are the tools which have drag and drop functionalities. So let's say if you wanted to write an if loop in programming, you have to do a lot of different things. You have to define what are the different conditions and if. But with RPA, all you need to do is there is if and everything already defined. You have to just drag and drop these different activities to your workflow and just work with it. So it is very simple to create an RPA program when compared to any coding language if you have to code. What's more is some of the RPA tools like Uipath as well as Automation Anywhere or Blue Prism has this power of recording. So what it does is basically what you have to do is just let's say you wanted to automate getting information from a stock website. So you have to go to a website. Let's say you want to search for the stock prices of Tesla Motors. You search for Tesla Motors and you see the minimum, maximum, and the cap that company has. And you have to extract these three informations every day and put it into an Excel sheet. Now, doing this manually is very tedious. So with RPA, what you can do is you can just record once yourself doing this activity, that is opening the web browser and searching for it and just pulling out the data. You can record this, and what the program will do, or what the tool will do for you is basically it will create a logic out of it. That is, it will create a set of sequential actions that will actually lead to that result. So all you have to do is just click on the record button. It will make a logic on its own. You can edit that logic and use it anywhere you want. It is that simple. So that is why RPA is so much in demand right now. So moving forward, let's talk about few RPA job trends. So the main agenda that we have today is the developer salary. Now, a lot of people, we have hosted a session on what is RPA and other things like that, and we have showed demo as well. So a lot of people ask us, what is the scope of our jobs when we actually land an RPA job? What are we looking at? What is the job trends? Do we have growth in the future? Now is the time to answer all of that. So let's begin with this. So if McKinsey and company have to be believed, they believe that automation systems will undertake work equivalent of 140 million jobs by 2025. Now that's a huge number. RPA will eliminate 140 million jobs. It's not just that it will eliminate jobs. These are the lower skilled jobs, if you will. That is what RPA is eliminating. It is eliminating the tasks which are repetitive and which can be achieved by sequential actions. Now, if these jobs are eliminated, it opens up opportunities for people who actually know RPA. So it will open opportunities for more skilled people who know about RPA and how to automate things with RPA, or design process with RPA, or even a production manager of an RPA developer. So these are the different jobs that RPA will be opening. So now is the time to think about whether you want to move your career in the future towards something which will be trending, or you want to stay back with the technology that you already know, right? So to demonstrate this fact, I have shown you, here's a graph that depicts the search volume of RPA jobs over the past 5 years. If you can see, in 2015, it was very low. And as we move into 2019, it is just going up. It is not coming down. It is going up and up and up. So the requirement and the trend that is right now in the world of RPA is that it is growing and growing and growing, and people are looking for more jobs to automate, looking for people who can automate their jobs and make their business functionality more robust, more adaptive, and more fast learning as well. So RPA is also developing there, including AI also now. So you can have sequential actions with AI, which will make your processes much more efficient, much more robust, and it will give you a lot of financial benefits if you are a company, right? So, and another great thing about RPA is the simple fact that since every domain you go, every domain, I by every mean, I mean every domain you go, there will be some actions that every industry that works right now have some actions which can be achieved with set of sequential actions, and these are repetitive tasks which you have to do every day. It could be as simple as mailing a single file every day. So every industry has the scope of repetitive actions. That's why RPA can be included in variety of domains, may it be IT, banking, telecommunication, healthcare, insurance, and manufacturing. Now, some of you would be wondering, how in banking? So a lot of people have to process various kinds of files, or let's say documentations which they have, and RPA can use OCR, which is optical character recognition, and go through their forms and validate their forms and make the entire process of filling forms much faster for any banks, and validation for that matter can be made very much faster with the help of RPA for banking areas. Similar goes for healthcare, because you have to enter a lot of data while entering. You have to fill forms and you have to push data to servers to let people know what they're having, and you can train RPA to respond to particular, let's say, any certain circumstance you have based on some numbers or some graphs which you have while working with healthcare, and you can automate to take actions according to those. So automation is there in every domain. To demonstrate this fact, we have another graph for you. So as you can see here, these are the market share that RPA has. So it is in millions. This is 500, 100, 1,000 million, 5,000, 1,500 million, and so on. So you can see telecom industry, retail industry, manufacturing industry, healthcare, everywhere RPA is being adopted. And as you can see, as it goes on, there is more and more job openings because the sector is expanding. So there will be more jobs in those sectors, and it will continue to grow till 2024 and so on. So if you are looking to start somewhere, RPA is the way to go. And if you are already an automation engineer, it's the right time for you to learn RPA, because in some time companies will be looking for RPA developers, right? Moving further, I would here we have compiled some more information on RPA jobs. So on the left hand side of your screen, you can see job openings across India, across various companies. So you can see Capgemini itself is looking for 1,855 RPA developers right now in India, and it's just in India. If you look at a global trend, there's jobs everywhere. And on the right hand side, I've given you the types of jobs that are available in the USA. So there are 2,597 full-time jobs available right now for RPA developers in USA. So this tells you a lot that how trending is this technology. If you can see the companies on the left hand side, you'll see Capgemini, you see IBM, you see Accenture, you see SAP, you see Oracle, you see Shell. All of these are multinational companies which are hiring for RPA developers. So which tells you that these companies see the future in RPA. That's why they are investing right now. So RPA is the future. And talking about the salary, so which is the main agenda of this. So as I've shown you, there is a lot of jobs, and these jobs are no ordinary jobs. So if you are working in India as a fresher, you're looking at a salary of around 7 LPA, which is a very good start for any fresher in India. And if you are an experienced developer, by experienced developer, I mean you have at least 3 years of experience, you are looking at a figure of around 18 lakhs per annum. Now that is again a huge number when you talk about in Indian system. 18 lakhs per annum is a huge deal. And if you are working in an USA based organization, or you are working in USA, for a fresher, you are looking at a salary of around $80,000. And for an experienced developer, you are looking at a figure of around $125,500. Now that is again huge number, and there are a lot of jobs which offer this. So if you gain more and more experience, you can see there is growth in the field of RPA as a career. If you're working there, you don't get stagnant with one particular salary. You grow in that field, and as the domain expands, you'll have more and more opportunities to work for variety of different fields, variety of different companies, for very, very, very good salary with very well tech-minded people, right? So let's talk about few roles and responsibilities of an RPA developer. Now, I've talked about jobs, I've talked about what RPA is. Now let's talk about the major jobs which are there in the world right now. So if you're looking at Capgemini or IBM, they're looking for three, when we went through a lot of job descriptions, we found people are looking for 3 kinds of roles right now, majorly dominant. These 3 roles they are looking for majorly. And we'll talk about roles and responsibilities of those particular roles, right? So the first one is a process designer. Now the job of a process designer is that he has to understand the current process which the company runs, right? So your company is currently running a process. So their job is to see where all you can improve by including RPA in that. So the job of the process designer is to understand the current process and think about how you can implement RPA in that field and how you can work with that. And he needs to basically conduct it in an efficient manner. And what he has to do is to look for a feedback when that particular design job has been working. So he has to look for feedback and how he can implement or improve his current process design that he has made, right? The second job that we are looking at, which pays the highest in my opinion, the facts that I went through, I found this, that automation architect is the job which pays highest among all the RPA developer jobs. And the job of the automation architect is to make the process designer's process. So he looks at a particular requirement, like here we can use RPA and this is how we can use RPA. His job is to actually make that particular program which achieves that automation. So the job of an automation architect is to build those RPS projects using different RPA tools with core automation team. He has to combine with the different teams to see if all the functionalities are being matched, if everything is in sync, and he's supposed to use his programming knowledge and his skills and whatever he has with his problem solving abilities to solve the problems which will automate companies' processes and make it more robust and efficient. So that is the job of an automation architect. And if you are wondering, the most suited people for automation architect right now are the people who are automation test engineers, because they have a background with automation. So most companies are looking for people who have a background with automation architect as their experience. And along with that, if you know a few tools and you have a few years of experience in it, you are golden. You'll get paid heavily. The next kind of role which people are hiring for right now is a production manager. Now, job of a production manager is fairly pretty simple. What he has to do is that he has to check if the process which was designed and implemented by automation architect and process designer is functioning according to the needs, is functioning to the expectations of the customer of what it was expected to do. It is performing exactly according to that, making sure there are no exceptions. If there are exceptions, he needs to revert it back to the concerned team, which is the automation architect, and he needs to work with analytics and everything to make to see if there is a scope for improvement and to make the entire process more free flowing, more better, and more efficient. So that is the job of a production manager, right? Next, we are looking at which tools you should learn right now to start moving towards RPA field. Now we are moving towards how we can develop ourselves into that domain. Now that we have the understanding of what RPA is, we have a lot of jobs, we have seen the different roles which are there. So how do we prepare for those roles? The first thing that you need to do is learn an RPA tool. So in order to enter and the RPA industry, you need to know RPA tools, right? And as I mentioned before, these tools are fairly easy to learn because they are mostly drag and drop, do not require much of any prerequisites. If you have decent problem solving abilities and analytical skills, it should be a walk in the park for you to learn these tools. Very easy to learn and make programs. With little practice, you can get a hang of these tools, and where these are very user friendly. So let's look at the market leaders in the world of RPA right now. So if you go by many researches which are there in the world, like Gartner and more, these people have identified 3 market leaders in the world right now. And when I went through a lot of job descriptions as well, I saw these 3 tools being mentioned there. Now, if I talk about job descriptions in particular, they mention if you know any of these 3, you are golden. But we are looking at our perspective of what we should learn. So I'll tell you about all of these 3 tools, and then you can pick for yourself. So starting with Uipath. Uipath is extremely user friendly, very easy to use. It has a visual process designer. Now, what I mean by visual process designer is when you compare it with Automation Anywhere, which is again a very reliable, highly scalable tool with a lot of features, same as Uipath. But the difference between these 2 tools is Uipath works with a visual designer, whereas Automation Anywhere has a script kind of environment where you drag and drop and it works as a script. Whereas in Uipath, you can see where your process is flowing. It is much more better to explain this if you have a visual demonstration of it. But just for the time being, just understand, script is when you go line by line by line, everything is written, and visual designer has an image of picture of how the entire process is flowing. So that is Uipath and Automation Anywhere. Now, Uipath comes with a free trial version for small businesses and individuals. So these people can just use RPA, learn it whenever they want for free for the entirety of their lifetime as of now. So these implementation here is very easy. So they'll provide you with orchestrator and everything that they have for free version, and you can just learn this tool for free on your own, or you can go to different blogs and YouTube videos, or you can take some trainings. Very easy to learn because it is it is free, so it is easier for you to learn. Whereas Automation Anywhere also has a trial version of 30 days or 45 days. I'm not really sure right now. It has a trial version there for itself. So if you have like 30-40 days for yourself to prepare with Automation Anywhere, you can take those 40 days, invest heavily, and learn that tool very simply. But coming to Blue Prism is one of the most reliable, highly scalable tool. Very, very, very functional, very reliable as well. Many companies prefer Blue Prism. But as a learner, I would not advise you learning Blue Prism right now because it has no free version. There is no trial version for it. So in order to even learn that tool, you need to pay. So that's a problem. So if you just want to learn what is RPA, you can just go for Uipath and learn it simply, or you can go for Automation Anywhere, try their trial version and learn that tool altogether. What is automation all about? What is RPA all about? But while Blue Prism, you have to pay in order to learn that. So if you have the resources, by all means, go and learn Blue Prism. But in my opinion, for a learner, they should start with Uipath or Automation Anywhere. But if you go to any JD or any job description, you'll find them mentioning that you should know Uipath or Automation Anywhere or Blue Prism, or all three, or whichever is more. So any of these three tools, knowledge about these three tools is more than enough, right? But have more knowledge on different tools. So I'd recommend learn both Uipath and Automation Anywhere, as they are free. Moving further, there are few skills requirement as well. So you just knowing the tools wouldn't help. So you have to have some good analytical and problem solving skills. This comes in handy when you are working for an organization, because every organization, you are looking to solve a problem. You are looking to solve something, some process which is going on. You will find some bugs here and there, and you need to have good analytical and problem solving skills to use this RPA. Now, RPA again is a non-invasive technology, which basically means that it comes over your architecture you already have. Let's say you're using Excel, it comes over the Excel. It does not replace Excel, it uses Excel, right? So you need to know where you can integrate your RPA with different processes that you are using. That comes under analytical and problem solving skills. Now, knowledge of any programming language makes it very easy to learn RPA, because it's not a very heavy prerequisite, but if you know it, it actually helps. But if you don't know it, you can just simply learn with a little bit of practice. You do not need like hardcore deep information about programming, just a little bit basics of what variable is and how you do if loop, for loop. But even if you don't know that, you can work with RPA. And again, ability to integrate different technologies comes in handy when you are working with RPA. So let's talk about few sample resumes. Now, I went through a lot of different job descriptions and what they're looking for. So we came up with this part for you, which is a short part where we'll be telling you what people are actually looking for while hiring people. So there are few things in resume which they'll be putting. I will not teach you how to make your entire resume, but I'll tell you how a sample resume looks like and what is to be there in order to get shortlisted for those jobs, right? So we'll begin first with a sample job description itself. Now, if you look at the sample job description, this is from a company called Capgemini, which is a huge company. I showed you there are 1800 requirement, 1800 RPA developer requirement in that company right now in India itself. So their job description is pretty straightforward. They need people who know RPA, and Automation Anywhere or Uipath is fine. So they're looking for Automation Anywhere or Uipath developer. They don't even have mentioned Blue Prism, but even if you have Blue Prism, that works for you here as well. They're looking for people who have experience of 2 to 6 years. They've mentioned location, notice period, that is fine. So if you come down, you can see the only key skills which is required is RPA and automation. RPA, automation, and Uipath. So if you're an automation test engineer and you know Uipath, you can directly apply for this job right now. So if you're watching it and you fit these criteria in, just go ahead and apply for these jobs, right? So this is a sample job description. So for this sample job description, you will need to have a sample resume. I don't know if this is very clear for you. So as you can see here, in the overview section, you would want to mention how much practice you have in automation. So if you are working, let's say for any company right now and they are using automation like RPA Anywhere, so you need to mention that. If you have worked at Automation Architect Anywhere or Automation Test Engineers, you need to mention that. The experiences comes in very handy. But even if you don't have an experience, entering that you have a certification in a particular domain or particular tool for that matter, like Uipath or Automation Anywhere, it will reflect it there that your company, whoever is hiring you, knows that you know about that tool, right? So you will need to do that. You need to mention what all tools are there that you know under the technical section. While mentioning technical skills, this is a problem that a lot of people face, that what they do is basically on their resume, they write everything they have learned throughout their life. They'll write C++, JavaScript, HTML, PHP, everything. The problem with that is people are looking for some things that you know inside out. So when you put a lot of skills on your resume, this gives your employer a lot of opportunity to ask you questions about different domains that you might not even be able to answer. So do not mention skills that you do not know deeply about. Mention the skills which you know inside out. Mention RPA tools on the top so that while going through the resume, they know that you know RPA. And after that, you should mention if you have good analytical skills or communication skills. It's very good to mention those even in your resume. And if you have, let's say, less than 8 years of experience, please make sure that your resume does not cross 1.5 pages. More number of pages does not mean you have a better resume. It does not mean that. If you have more than 8 years of experience, go ahead, write all the experiences you have by all means, because you've earned it. But if you don't have that much of experience and you don't have that many certifications and you just ramble on about skills and hobbies, that is not something that the employers are looking at. They don't have that much time to go through like 8 pages of resume. They want to look at what crisp content on what you are actually good at, what you are looking to do, which things, if I question you about, you will be fast in answering without any errors, and you'll be quick to answer. So while mentioning the resume, keep the content very relevant. Keep your experiences which are, let's say, very recent, like the recent job you had or the recent certification you have on top. And valuable experiences of where you learned and what you learned is important. And job experience or any internships comes in handy. Mention that as well. And mention the key skills which you are proficient in. I mentioned again, only mention those skills which you are proficient in. Don't mention everything that you think you know, because if you are being asked about those things and you don't answer back, that's a huge problem for you while interviewing as well, because it shakes your confidence and it builds a doubt in your employer's mind that this guy might not be as good as he mentioned on paper, right? So that's a problem that will be there. A short, crisp resume with things which are actually relevant is more desirable in today's world. Now, moving further, let's talk about the learning path for RPA. So we've discussed the salary, job, and different openings and how you can go about making the resume. But for making that resume, you need to learn RPA. So for that, you need a certification. If you do not have a certification, that gives a little bit of problem because it doesn't actually validate the experience that you have. So if you are a fresher, you must have a resume certification in mind, and for that, you can learn with us. So that is where Intellipaat has got you covered. So let me show you our website real quick. So we do provide training on Automation Anywhere as well as Uipath. Both of these courses have different curriculum. You can go out to our website and check it. I just wanted to show you few key features that we provide. We provide 24 hours of instructor-led training on Uipath. We give you 48 hours of project works and exercise. Now, this is very important. Whenever you're working for any organization, what you have to do is you have to show them that you have hands-on experience on it. And when you work with it, you need to have experience on it. That is where project work and exercises come into hand. And these project works are not just any works. We are a very diligent company. So we talk to various companies which are working right now and what kind of projects work they're taking. And these project works are created by industry experts, and our instructors currently who will take your live sessions are also industry experts who are working in the field right now and know what is going on in the particular field. We also provide you instructor-led training with a self-paced training where you can learn it at your own pace, at your own leisure of time. Another great feature which Intellipaat provides is certification and job assistance. We'll give you a certification of our own and we'll provide you with the job assistance. We provide you with flexible schedule so you can schedule your classes according to your needs. We give you lifetime upgrade. Now, let's say we are working with RPA right now in Uipath. So when I started working with Uipath, the UI of that Uipath tool was very different from what it is right now because it keeps on updating, it keeps on adding. So with the lifetime upgrade, you have this facility of whenever, let's say after 2 years, you want to learn about the upgraded features of Uipath, you can just come back to us and learn with us free for the entire lifetime once you enroll with us. Also, we provide you 24/7 lifetime support and access. So let's say you are studying at 3 a.m. in the night and you have some conceptual doubts which you've come across and you're like, maybe I don't know this. You can just don't worry about it and reach out to us immediately via email, or you can call us and our support team will be happy to help you 24/7. So if you want to go in details about this curriculum of this course, you can read about it here on our web page. Also, guys, I wanted to show you this. This is the certification. If you complete the entire thing of the entire course with us, you will be looking at the certificate which looks like this. And this is industry recognized certificate. So if you are applying for any job, and you can show them this certification, and it has value in the industry right now. Right, so this is all about the course, and you can read about the different testimonials which all we have and different things we have, and you can view a sample video as well. So let's move back to the presentation and finish the final parts of this live session. So about further learning. So if you are, let's say, just about started to learn about RPA, so what you're looking at is some free resources, right? So we have got you covered there as well. So we do provide blogs and YouTube tutorials on various technologies, not just RPA. In RPA, we do have Automation Anywhere and Uipath, and we have a lot of blogs on it and a lot of YouTube tutorials on it. But if you're, let's say, working on data science or AI or any other field, we have a lot of blogs and a lot of free YouTube tutorials that you can go and read. And if you face any technical doubts, we do have a community as well. You can go to our community and ask your questions, and you can get answers quickly. And we have a very active community where all the people which are in our community are very active. They reply to various different comments, and they come here and answer your technical doubts. So you can go out and reach there as well. And finally, since you have been so good to last till the end, so I'm giving you a flat 30% off on our courses. Just use the coupon YouTube30 to get 30% off on our courses, right? And if you wish to have a conversation with our sales executive, or want to talk to our course advisor, here are the numbers on your screen. You can talk to them for free, or you can reach out to us at sales@intellipaat.com. And even if you have any queries related to this particular live session or any other, you can just reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. With that note, I thank you all for watching, and have a good night.